Hello, everyone. I am going to show you all how to complete a teaching strategies goal checkpoint. Um, I feel like this will be a better way and a more interactive way to show you all how to navigate the teaching strategies goal website. So from here, you'll use your iPad and go to the Safari web browser. And some of you may still use Puffin. So whichever you prefer, you'll go to the web browser, and at the top in the address bar, you'll type in teachingstrategies.com and it'll bring you to this page. You need to select log in, and on the next screen, type in your username and your password. Once you're logged in, you'll get to this screen and you'll select the checkpoint tab here. So there's multiple ways to do this, and I'll show you maybe two, and then you can decide from there which way you want to do it. So you'll click by child, and here it'll bring you to a screen where you can select your first child's name. So I'm going to click the first one here, and I have pretend children and pretend documentation. So this is not real, and yours will be your actual children's names and the actual documentation that you've been inputting from the beginning. So we only did the social, emotional, and physical domain. So you do not need to worry about the language, cognitive, literacy, and mathematics. So just pretend they are not there. So what we're going to do is select the plus sign for social emotional. It'll drop down all the objectives that we documented on and all of the dimensions. So here, all of your boxes will say select level because you have not selected any levels. I have been playing around in here for a little bit. So these are my assigned levels already, but yours will all say select level. Here you see documentation, and these small blue D's mean the pieces of documentation that you put in. So the minimum was 2. And so some of you may have more than 2, if you may just have 2. And if you have an infant and they were not able to, and you weren't able to document on like something like makes friends because they're an infant and they aren't making friends, I'll show you how to assign the level for that. But from here, what you're going to do is click select level, and it'll bring you to the screen that you saw when you input documentation and assigned levels, and the screen that we used in the Integrated Reliability Certification. So here you'll see your indicators. So your levels, your indicators. You can select here and see examples. And up top, you'll see the area. So we're in the social emotional. It's objective 1, regulates own emotions and behavior. And right now this screen is on the dimension manages feelings. So you'll see here, you'll see um, you can click view all documentation. So down at the bottom, you'll see the date that you input the documentation and the actual documentation that you enter. Mine only says documentation, but yours will be actual things that you observed and input into gold. And here is the levels that you previously assigned. So this makes it a bit easier because all you have to do is see where, like for here, I have I have 2 pieces of documentation on level 2. So that is probably pretty solid that the child is on a level 2 here. The final level for this checkpoint will be a 2. So I select 2, and at the bottom, I'm going to select the next dimension. So you'll see that this is screen 2 of 9. So what it did is sent me to our next dimension, follows limits and expectations. And so again, you can click drop down and you can see examples of what teaching strategies gold would consider are these indicators. And here again is the documents that you entered and the levels that you assigned. So you can go down and view the documentation you entered, the dates that you entered it, and the levels are already here. So here's an example of a child that may have, or the child that I selected, they had documentation and that was a level 3 and a level 5. So what you want to do is read the documentation and just select a level that um, is the child as a whole. So if you have more documentation, if you only have 2 pieces of documentation, then you need to just choose from those 2. But if you have more documentation, then it may make it a little easier to decide. So here I'm just going to select a level 3, and it's okay to select the lower level because in future checkpoints, you'll be able to see the child's progression. So if here today, if I select that they're at the final level of 3 for this checkpoint, at the next checkpoint, they may be at a level 5. So just decide on which one that you feel describes the child as a whole. And again, you'll select next dimension. So here I'm going to show you, just to say this child had no documentation because it's an infant and they are not able to take care of their own needs appropriately. You would select not yet, and then you would select not observed. Well, excuse me, you'll just select not yet, and then you select next dimension. And then if you have a child that is newly enrolled in the best program, you just and they're able to form relationships with adults, but you haven't been able to document, you just select not observed. And then it says explain why you're unable to mark this progression, and you select recently enrolled. And if you have had a child with excessive absences, you can select that, and there's an option for other, and then you can type in the reasoning here. So recently enrolled, and I'll select next dimension. And then you'll get all the way to screen 9 of 9. And so I've already selected the final levels here, but you'll go through and select all of your levels and continue to select next dimension, next dimension, next dimension, and you'll click save and close. And then it'll save what you selected. And then all of this, and so this is the child I clicked not observed, and that's fine. So everything is already input here. So what you'll do is click finalize this checkpoint, because we've gone through each dimension, each objective and dimension, and assign the final level. And it'll pop up, are you sure you want to finalize the checkpoint for Jack? So, and it'll have the child's name that you selected, and you'll select OK. And that finalizes the checkpoint. And then it'll move down, and then you'll need to go to physical. We have not done mathematics, so it'll move down to physical, and you'll again need to go through and assign the levels for each child that is in your program. And so here you'll see, again, you'll see your documentation, you'll see the date that you input. You can select examples if you'd like to here. And then up here you can see demonstrates traveling skills. So you can just look up here for a reminder of what you're assigning the level for, should you forget. And so you'll assign. So here, moves and explores the immediate environment. If Just say that the child, when you first started documenting, they were at more of a level 1, and now they're at a level 2. Well, that's okay to select that they're at a level 2 um, for this checkpoint. So again, you'll go click next dimension, and you'll get all the way to screen 5 of 5, assigning the final levels for each dimension. You're going to make sure to click next dimension. And at the end, you want to select save and close. And then it'll again bring you back here. So you'll click finalize this checkpoint. Are you sure you want to finalize this checkpoint? Okay. And that's all that we'll do. So only for the you'll only need to do social, emotional, and physical. And so to get back to another child, you'll select by child, and then you can click on the next child, and you'll do the same exact thing. So select social, emotional, assign the level, select level, assign the level, and then physical, select level, assign the level. Now there's other ways to do it. If you want to do multiple children at a time, you can select social emotional, and then you'll have to go through each dimension. So manages feelings, and it has both the children, my pretend children in here's names here. So you can select show all documentation, and then here it'll drop down and show you all the pieces of documentation you entered. And then from there, it'll show, this will not be there, but it's showing because I have already finalized the level. But so I'll just show you on Jane's. So it'll show you the documentation, and you select the level that you want to assign her, and then you click next dimension. And so you can do it that way. And again, you'll click save and close and go all the way through, and you'll have to do let me see. If you go through all of this, then it's going through all of the dimensions. So click save and close, and all of them will have, and then you click finalize this checkpoint. So once you've gone through everything, finalize this checkpoint, and it'll say you are finalizing, excuse me, these children for social emotional, and it'll have their names. You select OK. And so you can choose which way. They're pretty much the same. I think by child will make it easier because you're focusing on one child at a time. So I would I would do it if I were doing it, I would do it that way. So just make sure that you're finalizing the levels and that you select that you want to finalize this checkpoint, and then it'll send the information over, and that is all you will need to do. And so if you have any questions about this, please don't hesitate to contact me. My email is Kanesha, that's Kanesha at auburn.edu, or you can call me on the desk at 334-844-3270, or contact your best mentor and they should be able to help you as well. So happy checkpoint time, and I hope that this is helpful.